Hey everybody, welcome to Awesome Comics, your one-stop shop for everything comic book entertainment. I am your host, Walter Benasiak, and today we are talking about Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie. It's been a big request from you guys for a long time, and we're finally going to cover it on the show. Before we get into it, as always, I want to remind you guys, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/awesomecomicshow. New videos every single Thursday, so go ahead and check that out. Okay, on the panel today, it's our usual people. It's the usual, you know. We'll go over to the left first. Miss Heather. Bruce, what's up?
Yes, hello, I'm excited. I always am. I feel like every time I watch the shows, I say I'm excited every time, so sorry.
Well, I mean, it's good.
I'm just always
That's
excited.
thing.
It's one of my favorite parts of the week to be here.
Aw, mine too. Human interaction's great. All right, and Mr. Brian Porter, how's it going, man?
What's up?
Yeah, all
Good.
right. You excited for Flash? All right, we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Okay.
Aiyanna Wade, how's it going, pal?
Well, I'm excited as well. I will join Heather on the excitement train.
The excitement
Flash.
train.
Strap on in.
Strap on in. We're going to Flashtown. Excitement stuff.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, anyway, yes, Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox is a 2013 DC animated movie. Like I said before, we're going to try to make our way through all these DC animated movies, so always leave suggestions in the comments below about which one you want us to cover next. Our usual thing here is to go positive, negative, so we'll go positive first. What do we like about the Flashpoint Paradox? Aiyanna, what did you like about this one?
I like seeing all the characters in it. Like we get Aqualad in this that we didn't get in the comics. I always like seeing him. Always like getting to see his weapons. They're super cool. Like Thomas Wayne Batman, super dark, super awesome. So I got some like really cool characters that I love seeing that were in the comic that weren't in it that were kind of cool. So yeah.
Okay. Overall, you're into this one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Heather, what did you like about the Flashpoint Paradox?
Well, I had some similar things that I had written down. Thomas Wayne Batman. Thomas Wayne Batman was pretty fun.
Yeah.
You know, guns blazing.
Guns blazing.
Taking names.
Good
You know,
Lord.
Batman
Throwing
and his
people
gun.
off
Murdering.
roofs, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
right?
But I'm a
great.
little bit more okay with Thomas Wayne doing that
Exactly.
than
Than
like,
Bruce. I mean, it
Yes.
makes sense for his character.
It's
Right,
using
right.
the juxtaposition of the differences between two bats, being like, this isn't Bruce Wayne bat, 'cause
Right.
he drinks and shoots and
Murders.
Murders, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Fine with
And
it.
while we're on the topic of the Waynes in the other universe, so to speak, I loved too that they did that little like Martha Wayne is the Joker
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, that
I
is really cool.
loved that.
Just
I
a
was like,
little hint into that. So
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
refers to the Joker, like a couple times when we see the Joker cards, there's
Yeah.
that much
It's
more
very
weight
personal.
to it.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
yeah.
We're
I
surprised
loved
the
that,
monsters this
loved
world
that.
can create.
Right.
Like my wife.
Yeah, right.
I really liked the beginning fight in the introduction too.
Yeah, I
because
really
felt
liked that,
like
too. I
it
agree.
introduced the characters
Definitely,
well.
definitely.
It did a good job of bringing in all the rest of the Justice League,
Mm-hmm.
but still starting with the focus on the Flash. But it did a good job of bringing in all the Justice League characters and kind of having a quick introduction to them without being like, Batman, Superman, so like I enjoyed it. Right. Like even the first one to come in was Batman and crashes to the roof.
Yeah, it was
Like,
cool.
ah, yeah, there it is.
I
Yeah,
can
that
even
whole
see
mini
it-
adventure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost a way to see the team-ups different in the alternate timeline
Right.
as well. Like, here are the good
Yeah.
guys, here are the bad guys. And then
Yeah.
so when we go to this other, like, alternate, like, universe and timeline, that's basically because, you know, people have been rearranged in that timeline, which is really cool. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily good and evil. They switch, they all sort of jumble up,
Yeah,
which is
which-
really interesting
yeah.
to
And
see
And you don't know
different.
what's
Right.
going on with them too. It's like, wait, Lex
Why are they
Luthor
working with-
and
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Lex, who's not in the
Deathstroke
book, which is
and-
interesting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're working for the government. Okay,
Right,
so yeah, it was pretty good.
right. Anything else that really stuck out to you, positive-wise?
Yeah, I liked the way they set up the premise of the other world. Like there was a lot of exposition to get through because obviously we've never been in this world before and we
Right.
needed to get through a lot of that stuff. But it was done in a way that wasn't like punching you in the face with like, hey, this is the way that so and so is now.
Right.
And
just
not-
little
It was
things-
just like it
hints
was just
dropped
matter of
here and
fact.
there. Yeah,
Right. It was just
And
matter
not
of fact.
spelling it out like you're dumb as hell either.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
We didn't have to put all the girls in dark lipstick.
Right.
She's bad.
Oh, she must be evil. She wears black lipstick.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you a thing. Sometimes.
Everything was set up and introduced well, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well, Porter, what'd you like about this one?
I liked your story overall. I thought was pretty good. I liked how brutal it was because that's kind of cool to see in a
It is super
DC animated
brutal.
movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's very brutal, and it was like refreshing to see how brutal these characters can be because, you know, they're super-powered entities. They can do some damage, and
Definitely.
it's shown how pretty brutal they can be. So I really like that. You know, Thomas Wayne was really good. I liked Reverse Flash a lot. I thought he was a cool character, and I really like C. Thomas Howell, who voiced him. I thought he really, really captured the character, so it was really fun.
In the brutality vein, there was that scene when Diana is just getting tossed around like a rag doll, and that's like super upsetting to like see. I remember that fight was like really interesting because just some of the like, when you flip over a character to be someone else, you're still kind of rooting for them because in your heart, they're still that character.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you're like,
experiences are different and they're
yeah.
different people.
So that scene specifically was kind of cool with being able to see like how brutal she was being, and then you're like, oh, it's kind of justified, but also don't do it.
Yeah.
Try not to kill that child.
Yeah.
Right, there were a couple of moments
Right.
where I just remember the first time watching it being like, oh God,
Yeah.
yep, okay, there we go, we're killing a child. Okay,
Yep, there goes
cool
that kid.
guys.
They went
Great.
far in the brutality vein in this,
Just,
for sure.
here's Mara's head. Just
Right,
Right.
like, oh.
Yeah, there
Okay.
was blood, there was gore, there was cursing. They
it was
they
pretty
went
brutal.
for it.
Yeah, they
But
definitely
it was
did.
PG-13.
But it's
Yeah.
PG-13.
But
Yeah.
at least like they went for it and they weren't like, can you
Yeah.
give us an R and we'll see what we do with it? Not that any
Yeah.
other film has done.
Right.
I'll just sit my Batgirl mug over
Right,
there.
right. Yeah, in this, you know, I liked it more than I disliked it for sure. It's not one of my favorite DC animated movies, but the stuff that I liked about it, I read the book and then immediately watched the movie last night. So I've seen the movie before, but I hadn't read the book previous to this. And it's more, the movie in a weird way is more fleshed out than the book. I mean, I think they go at like one-shots and everything in the Flashpoint universe. I know there's like Hal Jordan Flashpoint and Batman Flashpoint, you know, miniseries or whatever. But in the main storyline here, there aren't a lot of details. Like the whole thing with Wonder Woman and Aquaman in the movie, like they show flashbacks, they show that whole build-up, and I thought that was really well done in showing, like you're talking about the Joker, you know, Martha Wayne is the Joker. That was really cool. But in the book, it's just like, oh, I loved you. Well, you shouldn't have killed my wife. And then there was just like little offhand things like that. But in the movie, I thought a lot of the backstory was handled actually better. So that was really cool. And I did like the Justice League adventure at the beginning. It was like a mini Justice League episode, kind of.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. And I do like how it did deal with more mature themes and Barry taking responsibility for, this was all his fault. He found out at the end, you know, spoilers, whatever. But he actually traveled back in time, and this is kind of his fault. So.
And like that's just one person who like in anyone's
Just a
eyes is
small
so
thing.
insignificant
Right.
in the universe,
Butterfly
and
effect,
yet
man.
butterfly effect. Is that
That's what
Ashton
happened.
Kutcher? Ashton Kutcher.
I saw that
it was a
movie.
good movie. It was a good movie. I
I
like
don't know if it was a good movie, but I saw
It
it.
was a good movie. I liked it. It was a good movie. Okay,
Yeah.
it was fine.
Well, yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
okay. Yeah.
Butterfly
Let's go into negatives now. Negatives about Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox.
Pick me.
We get it. We get it.
Porter, go ahead.
The freaking animation was
we
absolutely
go.
awful. It was horrendous. It was terrible. This is the start of the freaking down.
It's not the same animation
Terrible.
style in the Justice League War and all that, though.
This is where
That's better
DC
than
went
this.
wrong and then continued down the hill of shit of animation. Like, I hate this animation style.
Hey, Justice League.
It is awful.
Whatchamacallit?
awful.
What's the Bruce Timm?
Gods and Monsters.
Gods and Monsters came after this.
Well,
That was great. I know it doesn't tie into this. I
That's
know.
Bruce Timm.
I think Porter has opinions.
When you first see Superman in the beginning, his
Okay.
face,
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
body, like, it was so disproportionate.
I was
It's
telling
the
them-
size of a
Awful.
fist.
I was
Yeah.
telling.
To his
I'll throw up
body.
a picture of that. There you go. It made me want to throw up. I mean, I was just like, it's not a human or a Kryptonian. It's not a humanoid figure. What is that?
What about his S? The S on his chest was
Ugh.
like
Oh,
just
like,
spot
It was
on.
terrible. That looked like shit. And Aquaman looked really weird and just
I didn't like
plain
his character
and boxy and bulky, but not in a muscular way. I'm a polygon type shape.
I'm a polygon.
Like, and it's just, I don't know. It's just terrible. It's
Wonder Woman's eyes
absolutely
bothered
awful.
me too.
Her Wonder
Yeah.
Woman's face
Yeah.
bothered me in general. I
Very-
didn't like her.
Small head
her
again.
body was fine, but her like head was weird to me.
Yeah, big head
agree.
syndrome for DC. Like it's terrible. Like animation
It was
small
Small
heads.
head.
yeah,
Small
small
heads.
heads, weird face. I don't know.
That's how I drew
Weird face.
characters when I was like a child. No,
Yeah.
I did big heads and tiny little bodies. Reverse that.
People love this movie, so I know we're gonna get
We're gonna say,
comments
hey.
about
Yeah.
this.
But
I
here's
mean-
the thing, I didn't mind the animation. There were parts like Superman, I didn't like some of the character models, but overall, I watch a lot of anime, so I don't know if I'm more used to that style or what it is, but I didn't mind it as much.
It wasn't
as,
even
like,
that. It wasn't like full anime though. It was just like kind of anime.
The
style.
beginning,
Right.
the opening was like full on anime, in my opinion.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
with his
It-
mom, that was full on anime.
Yeah,
With
I
the
noticed
glossy
that too.
stuff, like
Yeah.
I could see that. But I mean, like
Even
throughout
the
the whole
action
thing,
sequences I felt like were very full on anime.
I didn't. Well, it was like CG though, like when he's running and stuff. I don't think that
Towards
that's.
the end.
Yeah, towards the end, but like
That's-
yeah,
yeah, at
for
the
the
very
first
end.
part I saw it very anime, but
I think there's certain parts, but I don't know. I didn't think it was like full, like 100% type anime.
Okay.
it's like they,
Yeah,
they
like,
couldn't
there was
get a
lot of it in there, but-
consistency with how they wanted to model their characters. I know these
I agree with
characters are
that.
different,
Yes,
Okay.
I wrote
but like there was
inconsistencies.
no
Sure.
consistency with it. Like
Yes.
because
Yeah, I'll give
Thomas
that.
Wayne Batman looked pretty decent.
I
Like,
liked
he-
Thomas Wayne
it
Batman's
was
design.
proportionate.
Yeah.
I liked
It
his
looked
shoulder
good. Yeah.
spikes looked
He
good.
did
They
come
weren't,
down.
like,
His
giant.
waist was like
Yeah.
He had
this,
the
but
V,
other
but,
than
you
that.
know.
I mean, I appreciate that they tried to make a different style to differentiate it as like the new 52. I understand maybe that's what we're trying to do. I get it, fine. But I don't feel like it was the style so much as it was like some, like, oh, I'm gonna get some hate from this, for some like lazy animation. Like the
Possible.
Superman in the beginning,
Oh,
you
God.
could have tweaked the style just this much, and it would have been
make
a
his head
perfect
a
little
little
anime
bit
style.
bigger.
So
Make
I
his
feel like
body,
some,
yeah.
it was just like lazy animation.
It's
Absolutely.
possible.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the
we
coloring
can't say
was
for
good.
Sure.
I enjoyed the coloring.
Sure. I
The
get
anime
that.
style coloring I enjoyed.
Sure.
I did not have as big a problem
I
clearly as you
can't,
did.
I can't say it. Like and from
I'm
this
not saying
movie
it's perfect
on,
because there are some specific things. Specifically, I will give you that Superman is not good. He's just not good.
from this movie
But-
on, they've kept this kind of weird anime style, and it's just
It's
never the
different-
same.
It's different than this.
and they
though.
can't consistently recreate movie to movie, and then it's always different, and these character models always look like shit half the time.
Yeah, it's not the same thing as this though. They adjusted it. I mean, it's not like it's
live and
it's
learn.
not this kind of style in the DC
Yeah.
animated movie universe, whatever, with the Jason O'Mara Batman and all that. But
Don't get me started on that.
that's another story. But yeah, I mean, I think we all agree that maybe the animation wasn't the best at some points, at least
Yeah,
at
at
some
some
points.
points.
Yeah.
I mean, the book, the
I do like-
art in the book looks
Andy
great,
Ku-
and
Andy
it's like,
Kubert is great,
why is
yeah.
it such a novel concept to just transfer the art from the book to the movie as best you can? Okay, like I know,
Well,
I
because then
understand
you
that
have
it's going to be
artists that
hard.
want to take their own take on things. I
But-
feel like a lot of the times you just want to see the comic literally voiced over on screen.
Sometimes.
And sometimes I think maybe you can give the artist leeway to do what they do.
Right. And it's a huge difference to be an artist for a comic book
Absolutely.
than it is to be an animator.
Animator,
True,
sure.
that's
So
why- that's why I
the
say to a
crossover would
certain
not be
degree,
very
but, like,
consistent. You can't just give
I
Alex
feel like
Ross
you should
something.
try to encapsulate as much of the original content as possible
I
because
think
that's
they
where it's
did.
from. Like that's where like Thomas Wayne's Batman suit is so different and so badass, and so
Right.
that's
Yeah.
from the comic, and
Sure.
you know we're gonna see
You
that
didn't
on
see
screen.
that it translated on screen for this? I
This
thought
one
it did,
did.
really well.
This one
Oh, okay.
did, but like
Yeah.
the rest of them, like it's like you know what I mean.
Okay.
That we should try and mirror that as much as possible.
Okay.
You do your changes or whatever here and there subtly, add a little flair, but like this huge anime just departure from anything in the comic.
Just the
Just
look
no
wise.
thank you.
Okay, so besides the animation style, is there anything you guys didn't like about this one, Heather?
I actually was not a huge fan of the pacing of this. It got really actiony, then sometimes kind of, I don't want to say boring because it wasn't boring. I wasn't bored,
Right.
but I feel like sometimes the pacing was off.
Like in between the action sequences?
Yeah, in between the action sequences, and then it was a lot of just action at the end. Like for a lot of
Oh, yeah.
exposition we got in the middle, it was just like a lot of action. The pacing just kind of took me out of it every now and then.
Okay. Porter, anything else besides the animation that stuck out to you?
Not really. I thought it was the
solid
movie is
besides
a
that?
pretty solid movie. Like
Yeah.
animation aside, the movie was pretty good. Like I followed the story, the characters were good. You know,
Right.
it made sense. You know, it followed a logical path of events. Like
Yeah,
I
and it
think
was
the
a
movie
good-
was really good. It was a good
It was
movie.
a good core for Barry. I mean, I think we've seen this story handled better in the Flash TV show, actually,
Yeah,
but
to a degree. I mean, we've still got to see how it goes.
we'll see how it goes.
tomorrow.
Right. I
Right.
mean, like the mom, dying thing. Like I think
yeah.
that like the season 1 of The Flash told a better story than this did of that
Yes.
same kind of concept.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with that.
maybe that's what I felt like with the pacing at the beginning or whatever. I didn't feel an emotional connection in the beginning.
Right,
Like, yes,
right.
it's devastating. He lost
Yeah,
his mother, but
yeah.
it wasn't like I didn't feel like it was enough for me to feel like he needed to go back and change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I kind of feel the same way in the Flash TV show
Oh,
too.
yeah,
It's
with
kind of
season-
random
that
that
was
he went
Oh my
through.
gosh,
Yeah.
funny because we like didn't see it in the movie. Like we didn't see it happen until the end. Because I actually thought that while watching it. I
Yeah.
thought it was weird. I had to go back and be like, wait, did we see it? Because I forget. And so I kind of
No, he
like that
just
we
wakes
didn't
up.
repeat it actually.
Yeah.
And that they just picked one because that would have been like unnecessary.
Right, to repeat it.
I mean, it works on the show, but
Yeah, I mean, you had a whole season of flesh
right,
out
Exactly.
moments and stuff.
Yeah,
and you
but
had the
I
smash
almost
dance.
felt like I
Right.
didn't connect as much in the movie because we didn't see it at first and
Mm-hmm.
we waited until the end to see it. So like it all came together. But maybe that's what they were going for, that
Right.
we just
Right.
bring all the emotion up right at the end.
Sure.
In which
Right.
case, that works.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you didn't like besides some of the animation?
No, not really, not particularly. There was some like timeline stuff that was weird, but that's sort of the nature of it, where it's weird that it changes like past memories, and then he starts
Yeah.
having his memories collapse on himself.
But then he
That's-
keeps it at the end.
But then he
and-
keeps
Yeah,
it.
that was weird.
I don't really.
Yeah.
It's a little convoluted, but I mean, obviously you're working with timeline
Time.
stuff,
Right.
so
Right.
like that's gotta happen. But there
Right.
were a few things that were just a little off with that for me. But
Okay.
other than that, no, I thought it was a pretty strong story.
Right. I mean, I do feel like the comics handle the time travel issues better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like the explanation of
Right.
Reverse Flash at the end is, I think, more consistent and kind of cooler
Yes.
than how it came off in the movie. I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like when they just tweak with the characters and alternate timelines because
Right.
we know these characters so well that it's so
Yeah.
interesting to see like, oh, Batman is inevitable. No matter who's killed in the alley, when they're killed, these characters are always going to happen in these alternate, not universes, but like timelines. They're always going to happen. It's an
Right.
inevitability. So I really like that, and it tugs at my heartstrings. My heartstrings are like, oh no.
At the end, we get some bat
With
tears
the bat
going.
tears? Oh,
bat
Man.
tears.
I know.
Bat tears.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, the ending
Bad
with
tears.
Thomas giving, or Barry giving Bruce Thomas's
Yeah.
letter, that was really good. And it was
Yeah.
really good in the book.
In the
too.
book too, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
right.
like the one thing that I remember from the comic is the bad tears
Bad
in the letter.
tears.
The bad tears. Oh my God.
Tears.
In terms of negatives for me, besides the animation stuff, yeah, I have a lot of stuff about the animation, but in my notes here. But yeah, I think that the Batman stuff in the book is also different than in the movie. I mean, like in the book, I mean he's gruff. It's like the same character, but he's not using guns and drinking alcohol all the time in the book. They just kind of added that. He's just shooting everybody up, and I mean it was cool for a bigger contrast. So I can forgive it to some degree. There's a couple of lines in here were just freaking terrible, and some line readings were just bad.
Yeah.
I think some of the voice casting was very strange. I didn't really like Barry that much. There's a line
Me neither.
I can't remember. It might be towards the end or something. But there was a line where I was like, "Wow, that was that was a really bad line reading. I couldn't believe they left that in." But yeah, I mean, I hesitate to say it's a strong animated movie. It's solid. I
Yeah.
could say it's solid.
Yeah, it's definitely solid.
But it didn't really draw me in as much, maybe because it's so much happening so quickly. But like Heather, I wasn't as like attached to everything
I
as
wasn't
I would be.
engrossed.
Right.
Yeah.
For other DC animated movies that were just like from the start, like I get it, I'm on board. This was like I should be on board, but I'm not. I don't know what's missing, but I don't know. There's a sort of a missing element that maybe there wasn't enough subtlety in Barry's relationship with his mom or something, or maybe got thrown in too quickly. I don't know. But something was definitely missing for me. But yeah, all right, so let's move on to the next subject here. Where does this rank for you guys in terms of DC animated movies?
It's not quite up there with my Batman films.
Right.
Let's be real, because those are just so well done. But it's up there. I'd say it's top middle,
Top
because
middle.
I don't as much have a problem with the animation, so
Sure.
it ranks higher for me because of that. I like it story-wise, and it covers a lot of the Justice League characters, so it's
Yeah.
higher for me. So I'd say top of the middle.
Okay.
Top
all
of
right.
the middle for you.
Top of the middle.
Yeah,
Middle
right?
five.
Yeah, I would
Heather?
say it's somewhere in the middle too. It's not my favorite, but it's also not the worst. I mean,
Right.
I guess I might put it just above First Flight.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Porter.
I'd say like at, like number 10 in the top 10. Like the only reason.
You'd put it in top 10?
Yeah,
All
like that's just because of the story itself and like it was a good, solid movie.
Okay.
But take away the animation, all that crap. Like it's a solid movie. I remember liking the movie.
Right.
So like, I'd say like number 10, maybe 9.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not near the top
But
though.
it's in the top 10.
It's
though.
in the top 10,
That's a
but
big
there's a
thing.
lot of
There's been 30
there's a
something,
lot
I
of
think almost 40
shit
animated movies.
DC animated movies.
Well, I don't know if
So-
there's a lot of. No, there's not really a lot. There's like a handful.
There's like
There's a
I could probably do like
handful.
7 or 8 off the top of my head.
Okay, well that's what I said, about a handful. So, yeah, yeah,
Let's
but
do the math. 8 out of 30.
well, anyway, yeah, for me, I'd say it's just about like in the middle. I mean, I enjoyed it enough to where I got some enjoyment out of it, but
Yeah.
there's so much better stuff out there. Yeah, it kind of it eclipses this by far, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people like it. So if this is your favorite, let us know in the comments. You
Yeah.
probably already did, so that's cool. So yeah, are we looking forward to Flash season 3? It's coming out
Yes.
tomorrow, guys.
Yes.
Are you guys excited? That's
I'm
kind of,
excited.
that's why we
I'm
wanted to cover
excited.
this. Is Flash
Yes.
season 3
Yeah.
coming out?
Yeah,
We're
let's
very
prepared.
excited.
So,
Yeah.
And they've already said it's
What
Flashpoint.
characters are we going to be like
I don't know.
seeing in
I
it
don't know.
though?
Yeah.
It's gonna
That's
be
what
exciting,
I'm really
It's gonna-
interested to see.
I remember when the show first came out, we saw the pilot, and they had the tag at the end with Barry missing and this and that. I'm like, they can't do Flashpoint Paradox.
it.
There's no way they could do Flashpoint Paradox. They don't have
Or
any of
just
those
Flashpoint,
characters.
yeah.
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 And I was like,
so-
they're doing Flashpoint. It's like, okay, this is going to be
see.
interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I don't know. I mean, like I trust the Flash, but that him running back in time at the end of season 2 was so
so
random. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
but it
because we had
it
come
creates a
so
great story.
far.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
It's
he goes, you know
so-
what? Screw all of you,
Screw
we're
it.
going back.
I
And
just
we were
saved
like,
the day. I just got my time replicant to kill himself. All this stuff,
Yep.
and no, just gonna screw all this stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you'd think that he would go, he really, like, had the catharsis
I know.
kind of with the
He
But
got
the
got
show
over
had
it.
picked
He
up
got over
again,
it.
so we need materials.
He
So-
got
Why
over
not
it a couple
save his
episodes
dad,
before.
though? Why not
the,
save
the
Henry?
Runaway Dinosaur episode,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he got
Yes.
over it.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, it just
Great episode, by the way.
right.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin Smith.
Thank you,
Right.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, so why not save Henry? You know,
Right.
that could have been
That's
a
what I thought
huge
was gonna happen.
thing.
But,
you know, with Jay Garrick on Real Jay Garrick.
I think he's gonna show up
On-
again in this season. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
cool.
pretty sure he is too.
So-
Jesse Quick
sure.
too.
Right. So we're all looking forward to Flash season 3. I think
You
it's
know
safe
I'm
to say.
excited for Jessica.
Pick of the week is Flashpoint, the
excited.
original book by Jeff Johns, Andy Kubert, Sandra Hope, the names on the front of this book here. It's different than the movie, but it's pretty accurate for the most part. I mean, like there's actually more detail in the movie, like I was talking about earlier.
They
I mean,
added more characters in the movie.
right? Yeah, definitely. But they took out Element Woman, who I
Oh,
think
you're
I
right,
think you
you're
would
right.
love
Yeah,
Element
yeah.
Woman.
And Enchantress.
And Enchantress was a
She
big.
was,
She was like a
mentioned.
she
turncoat.
was
like a hot
mentioned
second.
in that little hologram.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Right. She's a big turncoat in this that doesn't show up. Also, Captain Thunder is awesome in this. All the Marvel
Yeah, he
kids,
is
the
more,
Shazam
yeah.
kids. Yeah, he's really cool in the book. In the movie, you get just a little bit, and there's actually a lot of motivation for him. He has like this big grudge against Wonder Woman because he like got scarred by her for like no reason. He's like super pissed off, so it's like really angry Captain Thunder, not Captain Marvel or Shazam. In this Flashpoint universe. But yeah, the book is cool, it's interesting. It's not one of Jeff Johns' best works, but it's still cool enough where I think people would be into it. So go ahead and check that out. Okay, we'll go into social media really quick. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Heather Roos or Instagram at HRoos.
Fantastic, Porter.
Facebook.com/awesomeporter.
All right, Aiyanna.
Twitter, Facebook, on Instagram, also on Snapchat now. Find me.
Find her. I am on Twitter at awesome_Walter. Talk to me about whatever you want. Make sure to like the Facebook page, facebook.com/awesomecomicshow. Come back next week because we're going to be reviewing season 1 of the Netflix show Luke Cage. So come back for that. Sweet Christmas, we're reviewing Luke Cage. All right, so until next week, these people they're pretty cool. I mean, I like them a lot. I'm Walter Bernasiak, and we'll see you on the next page. Bye.